welcome to Legends Never Die. I am your host, the Legend Crosby, coming back at you again on a wonderful, well, kind of gloomy Friday here in Las Vegas. Nonetheless, it's a good sports day. This is going to be a very active weekend in the sports community, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, free agency for the NBA starts today, 3 p.m. West Coast time. You guys know your times and your other time zones. Don't have time for that. We got so much to watch today. Got a good couple stories for you. Let's get right into it, shall we? There was a three-team trade today that popped off. Pretty exciting. Now, we've got Boston trading Enes Kanter back to Portland. This is a three-team deal that also includes the Memphis Grizzlies. So let's break that down for you. The Celtics are going to get a future first-round draft pick from Memphis. That'll be for the 2021 draft. Memphis is going to get Mario Hezonja. Okay, he has been up and down. He's the guy, you guys remember, was playing with the New York Knicks, had that block on LeBron James. Everybody lost their head. He is now being traded back to Memphis, or to Memphis, and they will also be getting the draft rights for Desmond Bane. He was the number 30 pick in the NBA draft that happened just a couple of days ago. So that's the movement that's happened between the Celtics and Boston. Hope you guys, with your respective teams, all enjoy those moves. I like Enes Kanter going back to Portland. I think that's a big deal. This gives some time to help Hassan Whiteside get a couple of breathers with a positive role player coming off the bench. So let's see how that plays out. I like the way that Portland's thinking. Let's keep it going, guys. I like that team. Come on, Dane Gang, baby. Moving on. Sadly, Toronto will have to start its season in Tampa this year. We still do have this Rona running around reckless around the world. Canada does not want a lot of people coming in and out of the country, specifically with sports. So they are going to be set up in Tampa, Florida. They're going to be playing at the Amalie Arena. Training camp for that will start December 1st. So if you are a big Toronto Raptors fan, please feel free to go stand outside that arena. No worries whatsoever, because they're not letting us in this year, apparently. The Bucks said that they are no longer going to chase after Bogdan Bogdanovic from the Sacramento Kings. If you guys didn't hear, there was a trade that went down. The Bucks were sending 3 players over to the Sacramento Kings in return for Bogdan Bogdanovic. It was a sign and trade for himself. He declined to go to Milwaukee, which is very weird to me because they are the number 1 team in the East and the Sacramento Kings are a piece of crap. So now that he has decided not to do that, the Bucks have released Ersan Ilyasova. That was the main piece that was needed to make that trade happen. They've just released him. So who cares about it anymore? I hear the word in the grapevine is Brogdon is going to be having meetings with the Atlanta Hawks as well as the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't see the Lakers picking him up. I think he's going to be asking for more money, so I do see him ending up in Atlanta. That's the only reason I could see that sign and trade not going down is the fact that he probably wanted more money. If it was about a contender, then we'll see that happen tonight. That'll happen at 3 o'clock on the dot. He'll be a Laker. I don't see it happening. I'm a Laker fan. I don't see it happen. Enjoy the Atlanta Hawks, buddy, because you chase money over a ring. I don't know how you feel about that, but you do what you got to do. Moving forward, as we are talking about the Lakers, this is a good Christmas gift early for all of us Laker fans. AD says he is in no rush to sign his max contract extension yet. This is a big deal for me because I feel like he is doing this out of necessity for the team. He could have went ahead and just took that max money. That's $40 million a year guaranteed. Maybe he knows something that we don't, that we'll find out in the coming hours that they're about to pull somebody in. He'll sit back with a little less money knowing he'll get some on the back end with TV shows, personalities. He is the brow. So big shout out to you, AD, if that is the plan. Shout out to Clutch Sports for keeping this thing together. Hopefully we can keep KCP on the roster too, but I know he is due for a big, big deal. So we'll see what happens with KCP. I'd love for him to stay. Nonetheless, let's move forward. Now another crazy scenario that's played out in LA. Avery Bradley has decided to opt out of his $4 million deal. I guess he's going to go test the market. Now, if you guys don't recall, Avery Bradley was the gentleman who did not join the Lakers in the bubble, but he was our starting 2 guard for much of the season. Our point guard, actually, for much of the season. But he has decided to opt out, which I think turns into this role here. Now, I also saw the Rockets have declined the $2.4 million option on Austin Rivers. That's right, Doc Rivers' son is going to be out on the market. Now, I like him. Okay, I think he is a great defender. He's a great off the ball player. He's more like an upgraded version of Alex Caruso. That's what I think of him. So I expect to see him in a purple and gold jersey. If not, probably reach back around and go hang out with his father. We'll see how that all plays out. Another situation that happened, Boston's making some moves right now. I guess Celtic pride, their pride must be hurt a little bit because they didn't make those finals. Gordon Hayward has declined his player option of $34.2 million. I think Gordon Hayward has now reached a point where I saw this from the jump. He should have never left Utah to begin with. He chased the money thinking that there was going to be a ring added to that. There was not. He's been hurt twice with Boston. I think he should stay with Utah, but since that's all null and void now, I do see him going to Indiana. I think that's the best fit for him. That's his hometown. I'm sure they have enough money, and that'll help out a ton with Oladipo and Miles Turner there. So I do want to see that happening, but we can't really negotiate anything until about 3 o'clock p.m. So we'll see what happens there. Moving forward, the Detroit Pistons have made a trade for Tony Snell and Kyrie Thomas. They've sent those two gentlemen to the Atlanta Hawks for big man Dwayne Dedmon. This is a good pickup for Detroit. Detroit needed another big man after they got rid of Andre Drummond. So this should be very interesting for them. Atlanta seems to have their name in everybody's conversation right now. I'm hearing different people being approached by them. Rondo, Bogdan, and now they've picked up a couple of guys from Detroit. We'll see how all that runs its own course. One other thing that we will talk about later is the New York Knicks have made a whole bunch of moves. I like what they're trying to do there, but this is them learning how to crawl right now. So don't jump the gun, New York Knicks fans. But they have cleared $40 million in cap space. That could be pretty interesting to see if somebody's willing to take that bite. Okay, Westbrook, you're out there. I mean, I know you wouldn't want to go there because in New Jersey is Kevin Durant, but it's a lot of money, brother. Anyway, let us move on to what else is going on around the leagues. We don't have anything going on in baseball. Baseball is very quiet today. The only thing I can do is I can say a good shout out to Robinson Cano from all your teammates because your $24 million salary that is suspended this year is going to be used on the players. They're going to have many a pizza party this week. So thank you so much, Robinson Cano. Everything else has been kind of quiet. In hockey, it's very quiet. They're looking to start their season January 1st. Free agency, I don't believe has started yet, so it's very quiet. One of the things that has happened is the Ottawa Senators have signed their forward Igor Sokolov to a 3-year entry-level deal. Now, this guy's a 20-year-old. He's coming out of Europe. He's been spending the last 3 years in Quebec's major junior hockey league. The guy's a stud, man. He's a baller. 20 years old. Let's see what he can do once he gets up there with the big boys. Good luck to you, bro. I think that's going to work out into your favor. I see you getting a big payday. And as I said, NHL starts looking to start January 1st. Hopefully that all goes well. You guys get yourselves into some hockey. Moving on to golf. Good old PGA. Now, I know a lot of you guys out there don't quite follow golf. I love golf. I think it's a fantastic sport. They have the RSM Classic happening this weekend out in Georgia. Right now, after Friday's showing, Robert Stret has a 2-shot lead over the field. Okay, he shot today a 9 under 63. Jesus, man. 9 under 63. 9 birdies, no bogeys. And if you don't understand what that is, let me explain. For every hole that you go to on a golf course, you have something called par. Par is the amount of strokes it takes to get the ball in the hole on average. So you'll hear a par 4. That means it takes 4 swings of the golf club to get the ball in the hole. So if it's a par 4, that means it only took him 3 times to get the ball in the hole, and that is what is called a birdie. If it was 2 times, that's called an eagle. And then, of course, 1 time would be a hole-in-one or an ace. Now, the other way, if it's a par 4 and it takes you 5 shots, that's called a bogey. That's no good. You hate those, okay? So, no bogeys for him today, 9 under. Good job, man. Great performance. He is being followed up by the Colombian Camilo Villegas. I hope I said that right. I know you guys be switching your L's depending on which country. We tried our best. He's at 12 under. He had a monster eagle at the end of the round today on his 18th. So he's 2 under. The rest of the field's pretty close and packed. Let's see what happens on Saturday before we get to the big day, which is always going to be Sunday. Major announcement for anybody who is a fan of the PGA, and if you're just a fan of Tiger Woods. So, in December, the 17th through the 20th, at the Ritz-Carlton Golf Club in Orlando, Florida, Tiger Woods is going to be playing along his 11-year-old son in the PNC Championship. That used to be called the Father-Son Championship, I believe it was, but they changed it because now they let the LPGA ladies in there as well. So it is now just called the PNC Championship. So that's going to be in December. You guys, I don't know if you've seen that video of his son stroking the ball. Y'all better be careful, man. You know, be careful out there. So look forward to that. That's going to be exciting. That's all the real sports that we got going on. Now, let us move on to football. You know that we had our Thursday game last night. Let's talk about it over there. And that's right, folks. You know we had a good game last night. It was quite a bit of a barn burner. The Arizona Cardinals went up to Seattle. Lost. It was 21-28. Kyler Murray went for 269 on 21 of 42. 2 touchdowns. The running game was atrocious. I was shocked to see the Seattle Seahawks looking like the Legion of Boom again, knocking out that goddamn running game. That's the one thing we've known Kyler Murray has been awesome with 10 touchdowns this season. Russell Wilson went 23 of 28 for 197, 2 touchdowns. They had over 150 yards rushing. Great game for the Seattle Seahawks. Way to get back into the league, showing what you guys can really do. Now let's get back to the rest of the sports. Yeah, that was a pretty good game that we had last night. Good to see Seattle getting back into form as usual. Sad news about last night. Kyler Murray for the Arizona Cardinals. He did have an AC joint sprain in his shoulder. Coach says he's not going to miss any playing time. They got the Patriots coming up in Week 12, so let's keep an eye out on that. Kyler Murray get better soon. Moving on, Taysom Hill, the New Orleans Saints. He will be starting as quarterback this weekend instead of Jameis Winston against the Atlanta Falcons. Hill is a career 10 of 18. This guy's 30 years old. His career is 10 of 18 for 205 yards. Both of those quarterbacks threw more than that yesterday. I personally believe that this is just kind of a secret weapon play because Atlanta would know Jameis Winston so well. He's been in that division for quite a while now. So I do think of this as a kind of secret weapon play. I don't see Taysom Hill starting any more weeks going forward from here. Yet I do see that we'll have to have him come out on the field. Don't know if it's a good idea, bad idea. Can't do anything but trust Sean Payton at this point. He's proven he's an effective coach. So give him the shout out. Good luck, Taysom Hill. I do see Atlanta coming out of that, but we'll talk about that momentarily. Next on the list is Myles Garrett out of the Cleveland Browns. He, unfortunately, has been placed on the Rona Reserve list, as I like to call it. The Rona Reserve list. He is said to have been in close contact with someone. Cleveland said that they have an unnamed player on their team that actually tested positive, but they will not disclose that name. Now, word around this water coolers is it is actually Myles Garrett. He is the one that's got it. This is a big blow to Cleveland this weekend. He is their best player on defense. He could be the defensive player of the year. Now he's got to take a back seat due to the silly Rona running around the country. Get well soon, my guys. Get well soon. Seahawks also did have a problem last night. Tight end Greg Olsen, he ruptured his plantar fascia. He looks like he's going to be out for about 8 weeks. This is a big loss to them. Defense has already been up and down. They do have some pretty good backup tight ends, but I'm a huge fan of Greg Olsen. I've always watched him when he was in Carolina. I don't really remember him a lot when he was in Chicago, but I remember a lot of those games when he was in Carolina. He's a good target, good receiver. Get better soon, man. Hopefully he can be back for them by the time the playoffs start. That's the most important thing that they've got going on right now is getting themselves into the playoffs. Once they're in the playoffs, as we all know, any given Sunday, right? Moving on. We have an exciting lineup of football this weekend. This weekend, I call the quarterback weekend. A lot of quarterback play is going to dictate these games. I know that could be such a cliche, but I do believe this weekend we're going to see some of the best quarterback play that we've seen all season long. Now, starting off bye weeks, Buffalo Bills, they're sitting down this weekend. Chicago Bears, they're sitting down this weekend. New York Giants, they're sitting down this weekend. San Francisco 49ers, they're sitting down this weekend. So those are our bye week teams. Now our morning games for the West Coast or the early games for the East Coast. We have the 6-3 Tennessee Titans heading over to Baltimore, who is also 6-3. I'm taking Baltimore in this game. I like the home field advantage. Obviously, even though there is no fans, I still like the home field advantage. And I think that they've been kind of in a weird slump. I think this is going to be the week where Lamar Jackson steps out of that, comes back to reality, and says, hey, look, I'm the reigning MVP. This is what I can do for my team and this league. I'm looking for the Baltimore Ravens to take that down. We have the 4-5 Detroit Lions heading over to Carolina to take on the 3-7 Panthers. As we already know, Teddy Bridgewater is more than likely not going to play. The coach hasn't called it out yet, but we all know what we're looking at. I don't see them having any good quarterback play this weekend. I'm totally taking the Detroit Lions. Words that I'd probably never say. Shout out to you, TJ. We have the 3-5-1 Philadelphia Eagles taking on the 6-3 Cleveland Browns. I'm taking the Eagles this game. I know that is a weird look. I don't trust Baker Mayfield as a quarterback. They just lost Myles Garrett to the Rona. I'm still a Wentz believer. I'm sorry. I may be an idiot. I'm still a Wentz believer. You know, some people that I know, shout out Dante DeMar, they are Philly fans. I try to ride with them. This could be a hard decision, but I mean, come on. You just lost your best defensive player and your quarterback is so-so. You guys tell me what you think in the comments below. We have the 4-5 New England Patriots taking on the 2-7 Houston Texans. If there's nobody else in the league I feel more sorry for, I feel terribly sorry. Well, Tyrod Taylor as well. But Deshaun Watson, I feel bad for him. He's just sitting here looking at DeAndre Hopkins over there in Arizona just tearing up the game. They gave him away for pennies last year. The coach who gave him away, they fired. And this guy is just out there taking a beating week in and week out. Tragic. I'm taking New England, okay? I'm taking New England. I would love to see Deshaun Watson pull this out, but I'd also love to see Cam Newton and Bill Belichick take this down. So I'm going New England on that one. 9-0 Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be taking on the 1-8 Jacksonville Jaguars. Somebody please tell me, where in the world is Gardner Minshew? What happened to the stash, man? This was the guy of a prophecy last year. Everybody was on the stash. Let's get rid of Nick Foles. Send him up to the Bears. You guys have won one freaking game this year. No, I'm not taking you this week. You're going to go ahead and lose another one. Let the Pittsburgh Steelers go ahead and take another one. Very sad to see. You guys got to shake it up. And you got rid of Leonard Fournette. Questions need to be asked about some of these coaching decisions this year. Moving forward, 3-6 Atlanta Falcons are taking on the 7-2 New Orleans Saints. Now, this is my sleeper pick of the weekend, guys. This is my upsetter. This is the one that's going to fall off the ledge for you, okay? I'm taking Atlanta in this. I'm a big fan of Raheem Morris. I was a big fan of him when he was running Tampa, and he was not doing so well, but I think he was just a younger coach then. He's 3-1 since he's been at the helm of the Atlanta Falcons, and what are we going to say about Taysom Hill? He's thrown 18 more passes than me. You guys tell me what to do with that. I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons. Lastly, for the early games, we have the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Washington football team. This is 2-6 and 1 and 2-7. I like Washington. Now, this is a hard call for me, so don't quote me on this. I'm a big fan of Alex Smith. I love to see his comeback story. It's been 2 years since this guy's played in the league. Almost died. He's back in there. He's back playing again. We saw what he was doing with Kansas City before he got hurt. We saw what he was doing with Washington before he got hurt. I'm taking Alex Smith to ride that sucker down there. And I don't want to see Joe Burrow win because I want my quarterback to be Rookie of the Year. So take it as you will. Moving on to the afternoon games or the late games for the East Coast. We have the 6-3 Miami Dolphins taking on the 3-6 Denver Broncos. I'm not going to go against Tua yet, and it's not Tua. It's really just that defense and that collective running game that they have. But I do like Tua throwing that ball pretty hard out of that West Coast offense. Looks pretty sharp so far, but we're going to stick with Miami on that one. I see that happening. The 0-9 Jets are taking on my 2-7 LA San Diego Chargers. Of course I'm taking the Chargers. They're 0-9. If we can't beat them, I'm telling you, I will make this prediction right now. If we can't beat the Jets this weekend, Anthony Lynn is fired. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's fired. They've lost 6 or 7 games this year by a collective of like 28 points. He's not going to stick around. Very sad to see. I liked him as a coach, but for some reason we are not getting over the hump. Moving forward, the 7-2 Green Bay Packers are going to be taking on the 6-3 Indianapolis Colts. I like Green Bay in this. I think Aaron Rodgers is on a mission this year, and it's as much as I love Phillip Rivers, it's just always weird to see him in a Colts jersey, like after all the battles that we've been through with those guys. But I see Aaron Rodgers pulling that out. He's just, what are you supposed to say about that guy? And it's on turf, it's inside. He'll just throw the heck out of the ball. 2-7 Dallas Cowboys, my sister's team, taking on the 4-5 Minnesota Vikings. Me personally, I don't honestly see Dallas winning another game for the rest of the season. I mean, 2 wins, I think that's even more than what they deserve this year for what's going on there. I see Minnesota pulling this out. You know, every once in a while you get that, you like that game from that guy? And this is probably going to be one of those, you like that games from that guy. So Kirk Cousins will probably pull that out. And Thielen's been balling. I see Minnesota pulling that out. For our evening game, we have the 8-1 Kansas City Chiefs versus the 6-3 Las Vegas Raiders, where I'm currently residing. I'm still wondering if this game is going to be played. All the COVID problems that the Raiders have just had, I'm very concerned if this game is still even going to be played. If it is played, nonetheless, Kansas City is going to take that sucker down. You did the whole bus thing. Y'all was talking back and forth. It's supposed to be some sort of rivalry. I don't even look at this as a rivalry. I low-key look at Las Vegas as kind of a fluke this year. I don't even think they were supposed to be as good as they are. But big shout-out to them for being as good as they are. I'll give it to them. 6-3. That's a monster record. So, great job for that. You ran into Kansas City. They're coming here, too. So, they're going to beat the crap out of them in Las Vegas. It's pretty sad. So those are our games for Sunday. When we come back on Monday, we will talk about what is going to happen for the Monday Night Football game. We'll also discuss scores and highlights. Oh, also, before I forget, we had 2 new jersey showings. Boston Celtics and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Both of those jerseys will be right here. You can see their new jerseys. You guys tell me how you feel about them in the comments. Do you like those? Do you hate them? They don't really look too much different than they normally did to me. Nonetheless, that is our show for the day, guys. I thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today. Please make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, push all them buttons over the ledge for me. This is Legends Never Die. I am your host, the Legend Crosby. Shout out to Isaiah. We are out of here. We'll see you Monday.